In October 2007, a video was posted to YouTube that sparked a cult following within the Hispanic community. Many people found the video to be terrifying to the point where they couldn't even listen to the music without losing sleep. There were even urban legends claiming that bad things would happen to people who watched the video. Eventually, a division formed between the channel's passionate fans and a group of critics, leading to a virtual conflict that played out throughout heated response videos, forum threads, and even leaks that resulted in doxing. Although the original video has since been deleted, a re-upload from March 2008 remains available and has amassed over 33 million views. On top of the video's unsettling nature, delving into the backstory presents an eerie descent into realms of bodily affliction and mental hardships. This is the story of Obey the Walrus. YouTube wasn't actually the platform where this video first appeared. In July 2006, the video was initially posted to a website called eBaum's World. The original video was in Spanish, with the title Obedece a la Morsa, which translates to Obey the Walrus. By the time the video appeared on YouTube, it had already spread throughout the Hispanic community, and made appearances on websites such as the Creepypasta Wiki and Frikipedia, a Spanish-language parody site of Wikipedia. Throughout the years, its popularity spread even further, and it received even more coverage in the form of reaction videos.
Dios! Dios, 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 Dios. A mí me da mucho miedo, me da mucho miedo.
Eventually, the video was shared to a YouTube channel called Obey the Walrus. Many people found this video to be terrifying, while some others actually found it to be funny and couldn't help but laugh. Let's look at a breakdown. The video opens with an image of Andros, the main antagonist of the Star Fox video games, lip-syncing a Spanish rendition of the Itsy Bitsy Spider, sung by a child. The video then displays some kaleidoscopic, abstract imagery, which quickly transitions to a depiction of a very skinny, disabled woman who is tap dancing in fast motion while holding an umbrella and wearing a clown plushie on her head. With this video transition, the music slows down and is played in reverse, with heavy distortion and reverb to create a very chilling effect. The woman is wearing heavy makeup and has strong facial features despite her frail physique. The video ends with multiple loops of her slowly walking towards the camera, as her eyes shift from a distant perspective to an intense, piercing stare. At this point, the music has stopped, making the scene even more unnerving, since all that can be heard are her shuffling footsteps. Right before the ending of the video, the very last thing shown is an image of a walrus. Due to the mysterious nature of the video, people quickly began to analyze its content. It was discovered that the person in the video was an actress named Sandy Crisp. She was a transgender woman who made a name for herself in Hollywood due to her underground performances as a drag queen prior to her acting debut. You may have heard of her stage name, the Goddess Bunny. A deep look at her personal history reveals a tale imbued with sorrow. Soon after her birth, Crisp contracted polio. To make matters worse, she endured malpractice by multiple doctors, who decided to introduce a steel rod that extended along the length of her spine as a treatment.
At the time of my birth, I was 2.5 months premature. My mother had the germ polio in her uterus. Even though they had the polio vaccine, because I was no bigger than a football and probably weighed less, I was too young for the vaccine.
Despite her challenging childhood, Crisp decided to enter show business. Bear in mind that this is a time in the late 70s and early 80s where gender identities were not as socially embraced as they are now. However, due to the exotic nature of Hollywood, Crisp finally found acceptance in this community. Crisp's career began at underground events where she would perform as a drag queen. During this time, she made many connections and eventually branched out to acting and modeling. Not only did she make appearances in various independent films, but she was also featured in music videos, including appearances in The Dope Show by Marilyn Manson, Fallen Leaves by Billy Talent, and Puppet Master by Dr. Dre and Be Real. Crisp also modeled for several art photography projects, the most famous of which is a nude photo taken in 1986 by Joel Peter Witkin, called The Goddess Bunny as Lita. This photograph is on display as part of the permanent collection at the Louvre. Unfortunately, Sandy Crisp passed away on January 27th, 2021, 14 days after her 61st birthday. In 1994, a documentary titled The Goddess Bunny was made, which featured Crisp's early life, mainly focusing on her transition and her battle with polio as a child. It was this film that contained the original footage of Crisp tap dancing, which was recorded around 1987. In fact, the viral nature of the Obey the Walrus video only served to propel Crisp to even bigger fame. Perhaps the dark backstory of Sandy Crisp is a contributing factor to the horror vibes in the Obey the Walrus video. You can almost see the weight of the challenges she faced, reflected by her deadpan expressions as she shuffles towards the camera at the end of the clip. Compounded with the unsettling music and meticulous video editing, it's no surprise that this video was so scary for countless viewers. To have a better understanding of the significance of this video, consider the timing of its release. The year is 2007. YouTube had just launched on PC a mere 2 years prior, and became available on mobile devices that same year. YouTube was not as popular back then as it is now, which is why a lot of content was still being shared on other websites. Many people also relied on peer-to-peer sharing through Bluetooth and infrared file transfer. This is especially true for Latin American countries, where not as many people owned PCs, and many were still using older generation mobile devices. To top it off, most of the content that was available online was not as sophisticated as the content we have now. The sound and video editing techniques used in this video were considered groundbreaking by many people, adding to its novelty. The level of creepiness achieved was considered revolutionary. Despite the fact that YouTube was not as widespread as it is now, the original video amassed 5 million views in its first year, which was a lot for its time. It is considered one of the first ever viral videos in Latin America. In reality, the video was much more popular when you take into consideration the amount of times it was downloaded and shared via peer-to-peer file sharing, as well as views on other sites such as eBaum's World, where it was first posted. Given the viral nature of Obey the Walrus, many people began to flock to the creator's channel. Questions remained, such as the possibility of subliminal messages being hidden in the video, and the curiosity revolving around the video's uploader and her motivations for creating it. And there also remained the big question on everybody's minds. just what was the significance of the Walrus? Taking note of all of this, more videos began to appear on the Obey the Walrus YouTube channel as the creator began to capitalize on this opportunity. In fact, over the next year, the channel would include 10 additional videos with similar disturbing footage and eerie video and sound editing techniques. Some of these videos contain gore scenes and footage so intense that at least 2 of them were banned by YouTube and later re-uploaded by other less famous accounts. The only other video on the channel was a short clip from Alice in Wonderland, listed in the channel's video log section. While the first video did not have any evident subliminal messages, all of the others did. This made it clear that the creator, who we will refer to simply as Obey for the time being, was listening to the community. One example is from the video Insomnia. At the beginning, we can see a white rabbit, and then an image of a landscape of trees and green grass. Then the video transitions to the white rabbit again, except there are floating eyes everywhere, and the rabbit is standing on 2 feet. The image flips horizontally a number of times, as if making the rabbit dance. Sandy Crisp's stage name is the Goddess Bunny, so this seems to be a direct correlation to the first video. The bunny dancing is representative of the Goddess Bunny, and the eyes are possibly a reference to the viral nature of the first video that everyone was watching. Later in the Insomnia video, we see some night vision clips, including one with a deformed man with an enlarged head. These clips come from a video called Rubber Johnny by Chris Cunningham and Aphex Twin. While there doesn't seem to be any significance to this, once we take a deeper look at Sandy Crisp, we notice something. Sandy Crisp's birth name was Johnny Bama. This character, created by Chris Cunningham, originated as Cunningham imagined, quote, a raver morphed as he danced. The final product of Cunningham's concept turned into Rubber Johnny, who is, quote, an isolated, deformed, possibly hydrocephalic teenager kept on a wheelchair and locked in a basement with his chihuahua. Near the end of the Insomnia video, a different clip of Sandy Crisp dancing is shown, followed by a clip of Rubber Johnny. Is Obey trying to draw parallels between the fictional Rubber Johnny and Sandy Crisp? This question has caused speculation among certain viewers. Throughout the other videos on Obey's channel, the white rabbit symbolism is a common theme. This is interesting, since it not only correlates with the Goddess Bunny, but also with the only other video on the channel that was not created by Obey, Alice in Wonderland. This movie, based on the story by Lewis Carroll, uses the white rabbit as a symbol of deeper meaning related to time, anxiety, and societal pressure. Was Obey feeling social pressure in his life and creating these videos as a form of escape? It's interesting to consider the deeper meaning behind these videos, rather than viewing them as simply a random mass of distorted audio and imagery. Soon after the channel started sharing these other videos, theories began to circulate. Some people believe the videos were some sort of mind control experiments, similar to the MKUltra project. Others believe the videos to be satanic propaganda. Some even went so far as to entertain the idea that there might be some transsexual cult behind it all, with the goal of hiding subliminal messages in children's music. Other theories also formed, some of which, even to this day, overshadowed the truth that was discovered regarding the channel, turning the whole story into something of a myth. People desperately began to investigate the channel, attempting to discover Obey's real identity. Many tried contacting Obey through YouTube comments and private messages, but they received no response. Not much is known other than his gender and location based on tags he used on his videos. For instance, he used the tags Guadalajara, a city in Mexico, and UVM, which is short for Universidad del Valle de Mexico, or the Valley of Mexico University. This university has a campus in Guadalajara, so people concluded that Obey was from Mexico and was around 20 years old. Viewers noticed other strange tags on Obey's YouTube channel as well. These were the first hints at the nature of his personality. He used tags for God and also the term Jair, which is a Portuguese name derived from Greek origin. However, there's also Hebrew origin, Yair, which would be interpreted as illuminated by God. Eventually, Obey created an MSN account to speak to people, but he would only speak to those who demonstrated being worthy of his attention. To prove their worth, they would have to complete an initial ritual, the contents of which remain a secret to this day. Obey also started expressing his ideas on his YouTube blog and sharing some of his drawings on his MySpace account. It seemed like he was beginning to come out of his shell and showing himself to the world. However, this would serve as a double-edged sword, since people would soon discover that Obey's personality was as twisted as his videos. On his forum, the structure of his threads was also a reflection of his disturbed mentality. There were various sections for different types of people. For instance, Faithful was a section for worshippers of the Walrus, while The Mass was a section for those interested in the videos but not convinced of following the Walrus. The Walrus Speaks was a section for threads about recent events with commentary from Obey himself. And the Satisfy or Morbidity was a controversial section for people to post all kinds of depraved content. Based on the way he spoke and the organization of his forum, many thought that Obey was attempting to form some kind of cult related to the Walrus. Obey's channel was not loved by everyone. In fact, just as it had formed a cult following, it has also formed a group of people who directly opposed the movement. One of the main sources of antagonism to the channel was a YouTube user who went by the name Music Is My Faith. In an effort to understand why Obey acted the way he did, Music Is My Faith created and posted a 3-part series titled No Obedecere, or I Will Not Obey, which covered investigation of the subliminal messages contained within Obey's videos. The investigation by Music Is My Faith helped identify Sandy Chris's identity and the connections related to the White Rabbit and Rubber Johnny. Unfortunately, Music Is My Faith's third video has been lost as the video was deleted. It is currently considered lost media. Therefore, his conclusions regarding Obey's channel remain a mystery. Music Is My Faith was not the only content creator making videos about Obey's channel. In fact, there was something of a war going on between Obey and other channels seeking to expose him. Most of the videos posted by other channels used a speech synthesis software called Loquendo, which was very widespread in Latin America at the time. You most likely have heard the male Jorge voice, which was the most popular.
Hola a todos, me he tomado la molestia de hacer este seguimiento con el fin de destapar la verdad sobre ciertos videos en YouTube. El creador de dichos videos se hace llamar Obey the Walrus.
This video war led to a clear division between those who obeyed the Walrus and those who rebelled. At some point during this online war, one notable person emerged by the name of Conquazabit. Conquazabit expressed so much admiration for Obey that he even expressed a desire to become his right-hand man. At first, Obey was skeptical, so he gave Conquazabit a task as part of his initiation ritual to make videos similar to Obey's videos. Conquazabit complied and created 3 videos: Are You Scared of the Walrus?, dream of the walrus, and the walrus's right hand. The videos featured footage from the Goddess Bunny documentary, with an editing style similar to the one used by Obey. This flattered Obey, who privately referred to Conquazabit as his Prince of Terror, although he denied this when asked about it publicly. Over time, Conquazabit continued to pursue his desire, until one day, he finally officially became Obey's right-hand man. This only served to put a target on his back, as other rebels began to target him with their own investigation videos. One rebel, who went by the name 77 Tortellini, was especially toxic. 77 Tortellini created his own videos, in which he focused on dissecting the 3 videos made by Conquazabit, revealing their subliminal messages, and showing how he used Obey's symbolism in his own content. However, due to 77 Tortellini's excessive use of hateful language, some people regarded him to being almost as bad as Obey. 77 Tortellini's final episode is a 9-minute rant swearing at both Obey and Conquazabit for their controversial content.
Buenas tardes, noches o lo que sea, amigos, mi nombre es Tortellini, y en vista de que estamos rodeados de pendejos ociosos, que solo quieren asustar a la gente, hoy les quiero hablar de un tema de suma importancia, un pendejo que se hace llamar Conquazabit ha subido a YouTube, los putos videos de, le temes a la morsa, sueña con la morsa, y, la diestra de la morsa, estos 3 videos además de ser asquerosamente repugnantes, son cínicamente subliminales, como todos ya saben, en el video, no obedecer se descifran todos los mensajes subliminales de Obey a Walrus, bueno, y con la mucha suerte e inteligencia, he podido descifrar cada uno de los putos mensajes subliminales de Conquazabit, que por cierto estaban bien ocultos y pendejos.
Nearly a year after all of this began, a new YouTuber joined the video wars with their own I Will Not Obey series. Unlike other channels up until now, this user, named Kavsameksamek, shared some new information, including screenshots of an MSN conversation between Conquazabit and Music Is My Faith. The screenshots revealed personal information about Obey, as well as the password to Conquazabit's YouTube account. The password leak caused many viewers to begin uploading fake videos to Conquazabit's account. These videos had nothing to do with the lore between his channel and Obey's. Conquazabit scrambled to delete the videos, change his password, and mitigate the damage caused by the leak. He also begged Kavsameksamek to delete his reveal video, but it was too late. The damage had already been done, and Obey had discovered Conquazabit's betrayal. This caused Obey to permanently cut ties with Conquazabit, and they never made contact again. The videos by Kavsameksamek are currently considered lost media, as no known links or re-uploads exist. Apparently these videos disappeared, just like the 3rd video in Music Is My Faith's I Will Not Obey series. After this event, Conquazabit uploaded a new series of videos that took viewers by surprise. In these videos, Conquazabit declares that his true intention all along was to get close to Obey in order to figure him out and expose him to the world. As a sign of this, Conquazabit reveals that one of the tasks from his initiation ritual was for him to take a picture of himself naked while holding a white bunny with the words, "I did this for the walrus," written across his chest.
Domingo 30 de marzo de 2008. Conquazabit. Tú has pasado la primera prueba, has sido fuerte y a cambio te mereces una gran parte de mi trono. Pero debo decirte que esto no lo debes hacer público, solo tienes que decirme a mí. Esto es lo que tienes que hacer, para probar tu eterna lealtad debes conseguir un conejo blanco, el más grande que puedas encontrar y tomarte una foto con el conejo estando desnudo y deberás escribir en tu pecho, "Lo hago por la morsa". es muy importante que tu rostro no salga en la foto. Si no estás dispuesto a hacerlo lo entenderé, pero debes avisarme ya que esto es parte de un plan muy elaborado.
Conquazabit also addresses various accusations against him, where Obey's fans called him a liar, based on information from Kapsamexamex's leak. In the third video of this series, Conquazabit directs his attention to 3 familiar channels: 77 Tortellini, Kapsamexamek, and Music is My Faith. In this video, he debunks various claims made by 77 Tortellini and criticizes his toxicity. He also calls out Kapsamexamek for being careless with his leak, since he claims it prevented him from being able to obtain way more information related to Obey. He also berates him for leaking his password. Finally, he accuses Music is My Faith of not trusting him and of being some sort of double agent for Obey, based on some YouTube comments and forum posts that he found, where Music is My Faith seems to actually be one of Obey's fans, going so far as to say that he loves Obey. Among all of the leaks and disputes occurring, Obey ended up destroying the forums, deleting most of the threads related to the leaks and the war between both sides. He offered an insane explanation for this, claiming that the threads disappeared due to demonic forces and that a new age of evil would be starting. Nevertheless, this did not stop Conquazabit. Being a psychology student, Conquazabit took all of the drawings from Obey's MySpace account and apparently consulted numerous mental health professionals in order to get their opinion on his subconscious mind. Then, on November 7th, 2008, Conquazabit uploaded another video of his findings.
Yo al estudiar profundamente los dibujos, tuve muchas hipótesis, pero pensé que si verdaderamente quería hacer una investigación que hablara con base científica, no podría publicar solo mi opinión. Tengo 18 años, y recién soy un estudiante, así que podría equivocarme, sobre todo si se trata de algo tan delicado, ya que podría haber dicho un concepto a partir de los dibujos que resultara falso, y aquí lo último que yo quiero es difamar. Difamar incluso a Walrus. Por ello es que en estos 3 meses contacté y me tomé el tiempo para hablar detalladamente con 14 profesionales, entre ellos psicólogos y psiquiatras.
In this video, Conquazabit revealed an analysis of the drawings and traits of Obey's personality and mental state. These traits included aggression, sexual perversion, confusion regarding sexual identity, maternal dependency, schizoid personality, OCD, belief of own delusions, and racism, among others. According to mental health professionals, Obey's videos were not meant to be artistic, but were rather a venting method for him to show his thoughts and inner struggles to the world. Despite all of this new information, many viewers still had 2 lingering questions. What was the meaning behind the original video? And just who exactly is Obey? In a subsequent video, Conquazabit declares that Obey never really believed he was a god at all. Conquazabit hypothesized that nobody found subliminal messages in the first video because the messages wasn't in the video itself, but in the very title, Obey the Walrus. In other words, Obey ultimately worshipped and believed in the Walrus itself. Apparently, Obey's goal was to create a video so creepy that it would be endlessly shared all over the world out of pure shock value, thereby spreading the word of the Walrus to the masses. By revealing this information, it defeated the very purpose of appealing to their subconscious. While Conquazabit affirmed that Obey's real identity was irrelevant to the whole story, people continued to ask about it. In the end, Conquazabit made the very controversial decision to dox Obey, revealing everything about him, from his full name to the city where he lived, the college where he studied, and the fact that Obey was just 19 years old. Conquazabit even revealed that Obey had another YouTube account with the name Voltesh and Sensol, that had a video that showed his face. In November 2008, Conquazabit made a final video called The End of Obey the Walrus, which intended to denounce his immoral behavior, break his delusions of grandeur, and show him a piece of himself. Conquazabit's goal with this video was to bring Obey to his senses in order to try to make him aware of his declining mental state. You see, based on the psychological evaluations, Conquazabit believed that Obey was truly in the first stages of schizophrenia and that he really believed in these delusions about the walrus. Conquazabit begged him to seek urgent psychiatric help, claiming that he could end up considering suicide if he continued down this dark path. 2 days after Conquazabit uploaded this final video, the Obey the Walrus YouTube channel was deleted, and Obey disappeared from the internet. Many people mourn the loss of the channel, treating its disappearance as the literal death of Obey. In reality, people were so invested in the drama and the mystery behind Obey's videos that they were saddened that it had finally come to an end. The level of fame achieved by Obey caused many other channels to try and follow in his footsteps. This led to similar videos being posted all over the web, and even copycat channels emerging on YouTube and other platforms, claiming to be the return of Obey in order to gain clout. A few weeks after Obey's channel disappeared, Conquazabit's own channel was also deleted. This led to an interesting speculation. People began to suggest that there may have been a possibility that Obey and Conquazabit were actually the same person all along. Even 77 Tortellini suggested the same thing in one of their videos. The fact that Conquazabit ignored this claim was the first red flag. However, other red flags arose over time, such as the psychologist Conquazabit had allegedly consulted. Apparently, Conquazabit name-dropped 9 specialists, including where they worked, but thorough investigation revealed that there wasn't any trace of these psychologists, meaning it could have all been made up. Another reason to suspect that they may have been the same person is that Conquazabit's first 3 videos as part of his initiation ritual were too similar in style and editing to Obey's videos, a feat which takes a certain level of skill to achieve. The fact that all of these videos use the text-speech Loquendo software means it is possible that they were created by the same person, since we're not even hearing their real voices or seeing their faces. Were Conquazabit and Obey 2 different people? Or were they actually the same individual, playing everyone for fools? While this is a predominant theory, others have entertained the idea that this whole event may have been an elaborate augmented reality game, orchestrated by some clever individual who manipulated both the rebels and the Obeyers. Another theory is that Obey and Conquazabit may have actually been friends and orchestrated this whole thing together. Regardless of the truth behind Obey the Walrus, one thing is for certain. This video was a trailblazer in the realm of creepypastas, contributing significantly to the formation of the enigmatic and dark corners of the internet that so many of us love to explore. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care. After hearing the full story, you may be asking yourself, well, what happened to Obey after their channel disappeared? After hearing Conquazabit's conclusions, many people were concerned about Obey's mental health. The first investigations began with the obvious link, the Voltetion Sensol YouTube channel that had been leaked. To their dismay, the YouTube channel had been deleted. However, there were still traces of his name across the web that could be found via Google search. This led people to discover a DeviantArt page called Voltetion that has two interesting details that stand out. At first glance, the only things this page has in common with Obey is that they both speak Spanish and that Voltetion also enjoys drawing. However, looking deeper into the cartoons section of their gallery, we find two suspicious images. One of them, titled Obey Conquazabit, is a drawing of a rabbit standing on a turtle, looking at some kind of chimera hybrid with an elephant trunk, legs of a chicken, cow udders, and 6 arms. What stands out most of all is the image description, which states, "Rest in peace, Hayid." Looking at the date of publication, March 5th, 2009, we can see that this was posted about 4 months after Obey's channel disappeared. However, what's even stranger lies in the info section. When clicking Show More, we can see that the date taken is October 23rd, 2007. This is really interesting because October 2007 is when the first video was posted on YouTube. Is this just a coincidence? The second image, posted over a year later on July 5th, 2010, shows 2 rabbits. One of them seems to be torturing the other. The image title reads, Hayed Project 01, and the description states, quote, aquatic rabbit experimenting with terrestrial rabbit. While all of this is merely circumstantial evidence, it is difficult to entirely discard the possibility that this Voltetion DeviantArt page belongs to Obey. Yet another lead is a YouTube account that is using Obey's real name. This YouTube channel has only 3 videos on it, and each of them are quite bizarre, but not quite as sophisticated as the editing used on Obey's channel. Looking deeper at this channel, we can see that one of the playlists says Asqueroso. This translates to disgusting, and this playlist contains videos of, well, disgusting things. Remember how Obey demonstrated an interest in gore, coprophilia, and well, just very disturbing things in general? That's not the only interesting thing about this channel. We can see their liked videos by looking at the favorites playlist. Here we can see a number of videos that stand out. One is a video of someone's message to the president of Mexico, and we know that Obey was from Mexico. Another video is the intro to Super Smash Bros. Melee, and we know that Obey liked Super Smash Bros. Finally, there is a video called Los Dibujos de Obey the Walrus, or the drawings of Obey the Walrus. Despite the channel's name and similar taste in content, and despite some fandom wiki profiles claiming that this is Obey's channel, we don't really have any conclusive evidence to make that claim. Even if this is his channel, there hasn't been any activity in years. Regardless, every few months, people seem to come to this channel's comment section in order to leave a comment related to Obey, and to offer their best wishes for his mental health recovery. One of these comments stand out, but we'll get to that in a bit. A SoundCloud account has also been linked to this YouTube channel. This is due to the usage of similar names, such as one song named Telenovelesco, which matches the name of one of the videos on the YouTube channel, as well as the imagery, such as this holiday candy cane man, an image which also appeared in the Telenovelesco video. The final possible lead in the search for Obey is a comment from this Reddit post. The post links to a YouTube channel called 910. Right away, we see the title of the channel, Jessica is Dead. The About section says, "We'll see each other in the next life, brothers." And links to a SoundCloud account for Jessica Cortez that has since been deleted. Remember the YouTube channel with Obey's full name? And how a comment from that channel stood out? Well, we can see comments by a user named Walrus 666. "I need that track," the comment says. Obey the Walrus's SoundCloud account also had comments by a similar user named Jessica Walrus. First, let's take a look at Jessica66's YouTube account. In the About section, it says that the project is retired. Comments on one of the remaining videos express that Jessica deleted all of her other videos and simply left this note. Jessica Walrus, 2010 to 2021. Retired project. I will work on my mental and emotional stability. Always seek professional help. Avoid being like me. Do not be slaves to your impulses or to that need to feel loved. That brought me to the edge of the abyss, and I didn't realize it until I was falling. Goodbye, and sorry for everything. Although I have tried to be a better person, the road is still long, but not impossible. Next, let's take a look at Jessica Walrus's SoundCloud account. Right away, we can see that she says, "By the way, I'm not Obey the Walrus." Jessica lists herself as a 23-year-old autistic trans girl. Like the YouTube channels, the SoundCloud page also says that this project is retired. "I don't use this name anymore in any social media," she says. The Bandcamp link leads to an account that has no releases. Comments across Jessica's pages seem to point out that Jessica deleted the majority of her content from social media and ultimately decided to stop making music and videos. The most recent comment that we found by Jessica is from 3 months ago, where she replies to an old comment on her "Goodbye, I'm leaving" video and says, "I'm ready to leave." Some people suggested that Jessica was Obey due to the usage of Walrus in her name, as well as a few images on her channel that came from the Blameitonjorge DeviantArt page. There were also suspicions due to the time frame where these two users were most active, both between 2008 and 2010. However, it's simpler to conclude that Jessica was either a fan of Obey, or possibly that they met each other and simply kept in touch with each other's projects online. There doesn't really seem to be much that they have in common, in order to assume that they are the same individual after all. While we haven't found any definitive evidence of Obey this many years after the events of Obey the Walrus, there are a few loose connections to other accounts. The most recent being the Blameitonjorge Twitter and DeviantArt pages, which display activity as recently as August of this year. Whether or not this is the actual Obey, or just another fan of his original work, we'll probably never know. In any case, all we can do is hope that Obey is doing well, and has been able to overcome their mental health issues. At the very least, they can take solace in knowing that while the story of Obey the Walrus may have concluded, its legend lives on.